Galactic Council shocked humanity marches to war. Captain Daniel Brooks stood on the bridge of the human battleship Liberty, staring at the stars through the wide viewport. The galaxy had never seen anything like this before. The stars looked peaceful, but Daniel knew they hid a storm. For years, humans had been underestimated. The Galactic Council, made up of dozens of alien species, had laughed at humanity, calling them small, weak, and unorganized. But now all of that was about to change. Daniel's hands rested on the rail, his mind racing. He thought about Earth, about the millions of people working day and night to prepare for this moment. They had not just built ships, they had built hope. Sarah Bennett, his second-in-command, came up behind him, her footsteps soft against the metal floor. "Captain," she said quietly, "the Council thinks we're still a young race. They have no idea what we can do." Daniel nodded. "They have no idea," he said. "And soon they will learn." On the tactical console, Lieutenant Laura Adams tapped the screen. Numbers and icons shifted as she watched the positions of the alien fleets in the Orion expanse. The Council had always treated humanity as if they were ants, easy to ignore, easy to crush. But Daniel had a plan. Not just a plan for war, but a plan for showing the galaxy what humans were really capable of. In the human fleet, engineers were finishing the final touches on the newest battleships. Ships larger and faster than anything the Council had seen, armed with weapons no alien race had ever developed. Plasma rail cannons capable of cutting through enemy hulls, shields that could bend gravity around the ship, and AI systems that learned from every battle. Earth had spent decades preparing for this day, quietly, in secret. And now, the humans were ready. In a command center deep underground on Mars, scientists and strategists worked at glowing screens. Rachel Morgan, one of the chief engineers, leaned over a console, checking the energy output of the main rail cannon on Liberty. "It's ready," she said. Her voice was calm, but her eyes shone with excitement. "When we fire this, no one will believe it." Kyle Peterson, another engineer, looked up from his calculations. "They've always thought humans are weak. That's why this works," he said. "No one expects it. No one is ready for us." Back on Liberty, Daniel watched the fleet through the viewport. Hundreds of ships were moving into position, silent and invisible to the Council's sensors thanks to new cloaking technology. "How many ships do we have in total?" he asked Laura. She tapped a screen. 300 battle cruisers, 500 support ships, and nearly 1,000 scout vessels. "All armed, all ready, sir." Daniel nodded slowly. The numbers were staggering. To the Council, humans had always been one planet, one species, one weak species. But now humanity had a force that could change the balance of power in the galaxy. "Captain," Sarah said, her voice low but firm, "they might still try to negotiate. Some Council members think we'll back down if they threaten us." Daniel shook his head. "No. They underestimated us for decades. We've been patient, but patience ends today. We move forward, not backward." The stars ahead seemed quiet, almost peaceful, but the fleet knew what lay ahead. Alien patrols would soon notice the humans, and once they did, the war would begin. Daniel felt a thrill of both fear and excitement. Fear because the enemy was powerful and ruthless. Excitement because humanity was ready. They had waited too long to be taken seriously, and now the galaxy would see them as more than just humans. Laura spoke again, pointing at the tactical map. "Sir, sensors are picking up Council patrols near the expanse. They're small groups, likely scouts. They'll report our position if we're not careful." Daniel clenched his fists. "We'll be ready. Send a signal to all ships. Maintain stealth until we reach the strike point. No mistakes." Sarah watched him, her eyes reflecting the soft blue light of the control panels. She had been with Daniel since the early days, when humans were still a small, defensive force in the galaxy. Back then they had barely any ships, barely any weapons. Now she could hardly believe the fleet before them. "Do you really think they'll believe we are ready?" she asked quietly. Daniel smiled, a small, confident curve of his lips. They won't believe it until it's too late. Meanwhile, in another part of the galaxy, the council leaders gathered in their grand hall, a towering chamber filled with light and strange symbols. They had been monitoring human activity for months, but they did not expect what was coming. Ambassador Thrax, a tall alien with green skin and sharp features, tapped his claws on the table. Reports indicate humans have mobilized again. Their ships are more numerous, more advanced. Are we underestimating them? The council chamber was silent. Many species had been warning that humanity was growing too fast, that Earth was building weapons no one understood, but pride and arrogance ran deep. They are still a small planet, one elder said. They cannot challenge us. We simply need to contain them. Thrax shook his head. Containment has failed before. Perhaps it is time to rethink our approach. I do not trust them. Back on Liberty, Daniel and Sarah prepared the final checks. Laura's fingers flew over the console, ensuring all systems were ready. Communications Officer Ethan Price monitored channels for any council messages, though Daniel had ordered all communication cut except for internal orders. No distractions, Daniel had said. We act together, or we fail together. The fleet moved slowly, invisible against the background of stars, yet ready to strike. Each ship carried the hopes of billions of humans on Earth, Mars, and the outer colonies. Every pilot, every engineer, every soldier understood the stakes. This was not just a battle for survival, it was a statement. Humanity would no longer be ignored, no longer be treated as weak. On the bridge, Daniel looked at Sarah. "Do you ever wonder what the council will think when they see us?" he asked. She smiled, though it was a serious smile. "They'll be shocked. They've never seen humans like this. They've never seen courage like this." Daniel nodded, feeling the weight of command settle on his shoulders. He thought about Earth, about the people waiting for news, about the children who would grow up knowing humanity had faced the galaxy and not backed down. "We're ready," he said. "All of us." As the fleet approached the Orion expanse, Daniel's thoughts turned to the coming battle. The Council would not surrender easily. Their pride would make them fight to the last ship. But humanity had something no other species had: resilience, ingenuity, and courage. Daniel knew that whatever happened, humans would not run. They would not hide. They would march forward, ready to fight, ready to win. Below deck, soldiers prepared their stations, checking weapons, reviewing plans, and sharing quiet words of encouragement. Private Lucas Hill checked his plasma rifle, feeling the weight of responsibility. "We're not just soldiers," he said to his comrade. "We're showing them who humans really are." On the engineering decks, Rachel Morgan and Kyle Peterson made last-minute adjustments to the rail cannons and shield generators. "If this works," Rachel said, "we change the rules of the galaxy." Kyle nodded, wiping sweat from his brow. "And they won't see it coming." Hours passed, and the human fleet reached its position at the edge of the expanse. Stars stretched endlessly around them, and silence filled the space between ships. Daniel stood at the bridge again, looking at the dark expanse. It was quiet now, but soon it would erupt with fire and energy. Soon the Council would realize that humanity was no longer to be ignored. Laura spoke softly. "Captain, sensors indicate Council scouts nearby. They're approaching the perimeter." Daniel nodded, calm but focused. "Hold positions. Wait for my signal. We strike together all at once. Remember, the galaxy underestimates us. That is our advantage." Sarah placed her hand on Daniel's shoulder. "I've never been more ready," she said. Daniel looked around at his crew. Every face showed the same determination. They were ready, every one of them. Humanity was ready. The stars ahead were no longer a peaceful backdrop. They were the stage for something the galaxy would never forget. And as the Council unknowingly watched from afar, Daniel Brooks gave the silent command that echoed in every human heart: "Prepare for war." The calm before the storm stretched across the expanse. But soon, the quiet would end. Soon, humans would move, and the galaxy would see the strength of a species that refused to be small. A species that would fight not just for survival, but for respect, for honor, and for the right to be counted among the stars. Captain Daniel Brooks took a deep breath, feeling the tension and excitement mix in his chest. He knew the coming hours would test every skill, every decision, and every human soul. But he also knew one thing. Humans were ready to fight, and they would not stop until the galaxy recognized them. Above him, the stars shone cold and distant, unaware of the storm coming their way. Below, the fleet waited, silent but deadly. And in the hearts of every human, hope burned brighter than any star. The human fleet floated silently in the dark of space. Hundreds of ships, each one humming with energy, waited for the signal that would start the first strike against the Galactic Council. Captain Daniel Brooks stood on the Bridge of Liberty, watching the stars. The calm of space was strange, almost peaceful, but everyone on board knew it was only quiet before a storm. Lieutenant Sarah Bennett moved across the bridge, checking the status of each ship. "Captain, all fleets report ready," she said. "Engines, weapons, shields, everything is at full power." Daniel nodded. "Good, keep monitoring, no mistakes now." Below deck, the engineers were working fast. Rachel Morgan and Kyle Peterson moved between the massive rail cannons and shield generators. Sparks flew as machines roared to life. "This is it," Rachel said quietly, her eyes shining. "Years of work, all ready to show them what humans can do." Kyle smiled. "They think humans are weak," he said. "That is why they will not expect this." Meanwhile, on the training decks, the soldiers ran through their drills one last time. Private Lucas Hill adjusted his armor, checking his weapon carefully. Beside him, a friend whispered, "Do you really think we can beat them?" Lucas looked at the rows of ships visible through the deck windows and nodded. "We have to, we must. We are humans, we don't back down." The council was watching from their distant chambers. Alien leaders paced nervously. Ambassador Thrax spoke first. "We see their fleet, hundreds of ships, but can they fight us? Are they ready?" The council members argued among themselves. "Humans cannot win against us," one said. "They are too small, too young." Thrax shook his head. "We cannot underestimate them. We should attack first, destroy them while they are still assembling." But council pride and arrogance prevented a quick decision. The leaders wasted time debating. They assumed humans would retreat if they threatened them. They assumed humans would be afraid. They assumed wrong. Back on Liberty, Daniel's mind was focused. "Prepare all systems," he ordered. "Shields at maximum, weapons ready, engines on standby. We will not be surprised." Sarah moved to the tactical console. "Captain, I am receiving reports from scouts. Council patrols are near our perimeter. They are beginning to scan for anomalies." Daniel frowned. "Good. Let them see nothing. Keep our fleet invisible. Wait for the exact moment. Timing is everything." On one of the scout ships, Ethan Price monitored the alien patrols. "They're closer than expected," he said. "3 cruisers and 5 fighter squads. They haven't noticed us yet." Daniel's voice was calm, firm. "Keep them that way. Move silently. Let them think they are alone. Let them think they are safe." Hours passed and tension on the ships grew. The quiet of space pressed on everyone. In the mess halls, soldiers ate in silence, minds focused on the coming battle. On the engineering decks, Rachel and Kyle double-checked all systems, making minor adjustments. "Every cannon must fire perfectly," Rachel said. "Every shield must hold. Every ship must move as one." Kyle nodded. "We are ready. They have no idea what's coming." The council finally made a decision. "Send a fleet to confront the humans," one leader said. "We must show them they cannot challenge us." Thrax frowned. "Be careful. Humans may be small, but they are unpredictable. They may have something we do not see." It was too late. Humanity's fleet was already in position, waiting, watching, ready. Captain Daniel Brooks gave the signal. "All units engage stealth mode. Move to strike positions. Wait for my command to fire." One by one, human ships moved like shadows through the darkness. Invisible to the Council's sensors, they took positions around the patrols. The first strike was about to begin, and no one suspected it. On the Council ships, alien officers suddenly noticed something. "Scanners show anomalies," one cried. "Ships moving without energy signatures," Thrax growled. "Impossible, how can this be?" Daniel watched quietly. "Prepare to fire," he said. "We start together, every ship, every cannon, every soldier ready. Strike now and they will not recover." The first human ship fired. A bright beam of plasma cut through space, hitting the lead Council cruiser. Explosions rocked the alien ship, sending debris into the void. Council fighters scrambled, but it was too late. Every human ship fired simultaneously. Beams and missiles struck with precision, tearing apart ships that had once seemed invincible. On board Liberty, Sarah watched the battle unfold on the tactical screens. "They're falling back," she said, astonished. "Every move they make, we've already predicted it." Daniel nodded. "We prepared for every possible attack. That is the difference. Humans do not just fight. Humans plan, adapt, and win." Below decks, soldiers cheered quietly. Private Lucas Hill felt adrenaline rush through him as he fired his weapon at boarding drones. Beside him, a comrade smiled. "We're making history," he said. Rachel and Kyle monitored the rail cannons. Every shot hit its target. "We're changing everything," Rachel whispered. "This is just the beginning." In the Council chamber, alien leaders shouted, argued, and panicked. "They should not be able to do this," one yelled. "How can humans be so organized, so powerful?" Thrax's eyes burned with anger. "We underestimated them, we should have listened." But it was too late. Humanity had the advantage. Every Council move was countered. Every attack was predicted. Humans moved with the precision of a single mind, every ship, every soldier, every weapon acting together. Daniel watched the destruction. "Hold your positions," he ordered. "Do not let arrogance cost us victory. We are not here to destroy everything yet. We are here to show them our strength." Sarah looked at him, worried. "Captain, they are sending reinforcements. They won't stop." Daniel smiled. "Good, let them come. They will see what humanity can do." As the Council scrambled to defend themselves, human scouts moved behind enemy lines. They boarded ships silently, disabling systems, capturing ships intact. Ethan Price coordinated the boarding teams. "Every ship we take is a lesson," he said. "Every victory shows them humans are not weak." In space, explosions lit up the darkness. Fires burned on alien cruisers and fighters were shredded in waves of plasma. Humanity's fleet moved like a storm, unstoppable, precise, terrifying. Back on Earth, millions of humans watched the fleet move through space, though they did not see the battle. News feeds brought updates from automated sensors. People cheered quietly, some with tears. For years, humanity had been told it was weak, insignificant, unable to survive in the galaxy. Now every human knew the truth. They were strong. They were smart. They were unstoppable when united. On the Council ships, alien leaders were desperate. "We cannot contain them," one cried. "They are everywhere and they are coordinated." Thrax's face twisted with fury. "We made a mistake, a grave mistake. They are not just humans, they are something else, something dangerous." On Liberty, Daniel spoke to his fleet through the universal comm system. "We do not seek unnecessary destruction, but know this: humanity will defend itself. We will fight, and we will not retreat. The galaxy has underestimated us for too long. The age of humans being ignored is over." The Council fleet faltered, unsure how to respond. For decades, no species had shown the Council this kind of power, this kind of courage. They had assumed humanity would be a small, weak presence in the galaxy. They had been wrong. Sarah turned to Daniel. "The first strike went perfectly, but this is only the beginning." Daniel nodded. "We've shown them what humans can do. Now we prepare for the next phase. We will not stop until the Council understands that we are no longer a minor species. We are a force." Below decks, soldiers and engineers worked together, repairing minor damage, reloading weapons, and preparing for the next wave. Lucas Hill looked out the small viewport, seeing flashes of distant explosions. "This is only the start," he said, "and I feel proud." Proud to be human. Rachel and Kyle continued to adjust the weapons. "Every system works," Rachel said. "Every cannon is ready. The Council will see our full power soon." Kyle smiled. "And they will never forget it." In the council chambers, panic grew. Alien leaders yelled orders that could not be completed in time. Their ships were scattered, their tactics predicted, their arrogance shattered. Humanity's strength was undeniable. Daniel watched quietly, confident. He knew this was just the start. The first strike had shown the galaxy that humans were not weak, that humans could fight, plan, and win. And as the stars flashed with energy from the ongoing battle, he felt something he had never felt before in all his years of command: pure hope. Humans were not just surviving in the galaxy. Humans were proving they belonged, and the Council would never forget the day humanity first marched to war. The human fleet moved forward through the Orion expanse, leaving the Council's first lines of defense behind. Captain Daniel Brooks stood on the Bridge of Liberty, his eyes fixed on the stars ahead. Each ship in the fleet moved in perfect formation, silent but deadly, like a shadow over the Council's territory. Lieutenant Sarah Bennett checked the tactical screens. "Captain, sensors show the Council is regrouping. They are calling in reinforcements. Their main fleet is moving toward us from the other side of the expanse." Daniel's jaw tightened. "Good. Let them come. They will see the full strength of humanity." Below decks, engineers Rachel Morgan and Kyle Peterson were working fast, adjusting energy outputs and checking weapon systems. "The Council has no idea what's coming," Rachel said, her hands flying over the controls. "Every ship, every cannon, every shield, all of it is ready." Kyle smiled. "We've trained for this. They cannot match us. Not yet." Across the fleet, soldiers prepared for the coming battle. Private Lucas Hill checked his plasma rifle for the 100th time, making sure it was loaded and fully charged. Beside him, his friend whispered, "Do you think we can really take their main fleet?" Lucas nodded. "We have to. We are humans. We never give up." Captain Brooks walked across the bridge, stopping at each station. He looked at Ethan Price, who monitored enemy movements. "Ethan, what are their numbers?" he asked. Ethan studied the screens. "Main fleet approaching, at least 2,000 ships, battleships, cruisers, fighters, all moving fast. They will reach us in 30 minutes. Daniel nodded. "Then we prepare. Signal all ships, hold positions, and activate full shields. Weapons on standby. Wait for my order to strike." Sarah leaned closer to Daniel. "Sir, their fleet is huge. They may try to surround us." Daniel shook his head slowly. "Let them try. Humans do not fear numbers. We fight smarter, faster, and together. That is our advantage." Meanwhile, in the council chambers, panic was growing. Ambassador Thrax paced in front of a large window showing the approaching human fleet. "They are still advancing," he said, his voice low but urgent. "How can they have survived the first strike? They should have been contained." An elder council member hissed, "They are stronger than we believed. Our ships are not fast enough. Our weapons, they are different." Thrax's eyes narrowed. "They are not just different. They are humans, and they fight as one. We cannot underestimate them again." Back on Liberty, Daniel's fleet was ready. Every ship had activated shields, weapons were locked, and communication channels were secure. Ethan monitored the council fleet, noting their formations. "They are trying to flank us from both sides," he said. Daniel nodded. "Then we adjust. All ships change formation delta. Prepare for full engagement. Remember, we fight smart, not just hard." The council's fleet began its assault. Fighters swooped in from both sides, firing energy blasts at the human ships. Missiles streaked across space, aiming for the Liberty and the rest of the fleet. But every human ship moved like a single entity. Shields absorbed blasts, while countermeasures destroyed missiles before they reached their targets. Onboard Liberty, Sarah shouted, "Captain, their fighters are breaking formation. They're trying to retreat from our attack." Daniel smiled. "Good, let them run into our trap." From hidden positions, human rail cannons fired. Beams of energy cut through alien battleships, destroying their engines and leaving them drifting helplessly in space. The Council fleet was shocked. Their largest ships, built to intimidate, were falling one by one. Private Lucas Hill fired at an enemy fighter that had slipped past the shields. "Got it," he shouted. The fighter exploded in a bright flash, and he could feel the vibration in the hull. Around him, other soldiers were fighting boarding drones, cutting them down with precision. Below decks, Rachel and Kyle monitored the rail cannons. "Every shot hits," Rachel said. "Our calculations are perfect. They don't stand a chance." Kyle nodded. "This is the beginning. Soon, their main fleet will see what humans are capable of." The Council fleet tried to regroup, but Daniel had anticipated their movements. Every trap, every maneuver had been studied and prepared for months. "Prepare for the main strike," Daniel said. "When their flagship appears, we hit all at once. No mistakes." On the edge of the expanse, the Council flagship appeared. It was massive, with layers of armor and energy shields. Alien leaders believed it could withstand anything, but they had never faced humans before. "Captain, the flagship is approaching," Sarah said. "It's massive." "They are sending everything they have." Daniel's eyes were calm. "That is fine, we are ready. Focus all firepower on that ship, take it down first. The rest will follow." Ethan Price coordinated the attack. All rail cannons locked on the flagship, shields at full. "Weapons on standby, waiting for your order, sir." Daniel looked around the bridge at his crew. Every face showed determination. "Fire," he said. Simultaneously, hundreds of human ships unleashed a torrent of energy. Rail cannons, plasma beams, and missiles all struck the Council flagship at once. The massive ship shuddered under the attack, its shields flickering. Alien officers on the bridge screamed in panic as the human assault tore through their defenses. Below deck, soldiers cheered quietly. "We're hitting them," Lucas Hill shouted. "Keep firing." Rachel and Kyle watched the energy readings. "We're overloading their systems," Rachel said. "Every shield is down. We can keep this up." The Council flagship tried to fire back, sending massive beams at human ships, but the coordinated fleet avoided the attacks with precise maneuvers. Smaller Council ships were destroyed, leaving the flagship alone against the human swarm. Thrax watched in disbelief from the Council chambers. "Impossible," he muttered. "How can humans fight like this? They are everywhere and every move is perfect. They are too smart." Onboard Liberty, Daniel gave orders to board the flagship. "Prepare boarding teams." "We will capture their command center. End this fight quickly." Sarah nodded. "Teams ready, sir. Boarding pods in position." The boarding pods launched silently, approaching the flagship from multiple angles. Human soldiers, trained for years, moved like shadows inside the enemy ship, disabling systems and capturing alien officers. Lucas Hill led a team into the engine room, planting charges to prevent escape. "We are taking everything," he said. On the Council flagship, chaos reigned. Alien leaders were confused, their ships destroyed, their systems failing. "We underestimated them," one yelled. "We must retreat." But it was too late. Humans controlled the battlefield. The flagship's engines were destroyed and energy shields collapsed. Daniel's fleet surrounded the remaining Council ships, leaving them no choice but to surrender. Captain Brooks looked at the tactical screens. "All ships cease fire. Secure the area. No further destruction unless necessary." Sarah smiled, relief and pride in her eyes. "They did it. We did it." Below decks, soldiers and engineers worked together to repair minor damage and secure prisoners. Lucas Hill watched as alien officers were captured. "We've shown them who humans are," he said quietly. Rachel and Kyle checked weapon systems. "Everything held," Rachel said. "Not one cannon failed, not one shield fell. We did it." Daniel addressed the fleet through the universal comm system. Humans have shown the galaxy today that we are a force to be reckoned with. We fight together, we think together, and we win together. Let this be a warning to all. Humanity will not be ignored. The Council fleet, defeated and humiliated, began to retreat. Alien leaders could not believe what had happened. They had expected humans to be weak, but now they had learned that humans were clever, brave, and unstoppable when united. Sarah turned to Daniel. "This is only the beginning. They will come back with more ships." "Stronger weapons," Daniel nodded. "Let them come, we will be ready. Humans do not back down. We fight, we adapt, and we win." In space, the stars were silent again, but the galaxy had changed. Humanity had shown its strength, not just in battle, but in strategy, courage, and determination. Every ship, every soldier, every human had proven something to the Council. Humans were not a species to be underestimated. Lucas Hill looked out the viewport, seeing the damaged Council ships drifting away. "We did it," he whispered. "We really did it." Rachel and Kyle stood beside him. "And we'll keep doing it," Kyle said. "Every ship, every weapon, every human will be ready." Captain Daniel Brooks looked at the stars, calm and confident. The first major battle was over. Humanity had struck hard and smart, and the Council would never forget it. But the war was not finished. The Council would regroup, send more ships, and try to reclaim their honor. Daniel smiled faintly. "Let them come," he said. "We will be waiting, and when they do, the galaxy will see what humans can really do." Below, the fleet repaired, resupplied, and prepared for the next engagement. The soldiers trained, the engineers adjusted weapons, and the leaders planned the next move. Humanity had won a battle today, but they were ready for the war to come. And in the hearts of every human, pride and determination burned bright. The galaxy had seen the first wave of human strength, and it would not forget. Humanity was no longer small. Humanity was no longer weak. Humanity was a force the galaxy would have to respect. The human fleet moved deeper into Council space, past the expanse, past the shattered remnants of the first battle. Captain Daniel Brooks stood on the Bridge of Liberty, watching the stars stretch endlessly ahead. Each ship moved in perfect formation, silent but powerful. The Council would not recover quickly, but Daniel knew they would try. The humans had shown their strength, and now the galaxy would fight back. Lieutenant Sarah Bennett stood beside him, her eyes on the tactical screens. "Captain, sensors detect new fleets forming ahead. The Council is gathering reinforcements. They will try to cut us off." Daniel nodded. "Then we adapt. They learned nothing from the first battle. We will show them that humans do not give up. We plan, we act, and we fight together." Below decks, engineers Rachel Morgan and Kyle Peterson adjusted weapon systems and checked the rail cannons. "They're preparing for us," Rachel said. "But they don't know everything. Our weapons are ready, our shields are ready." "They cannot match our coordination," Kyle smiled. "Every ship, every crew member, every system, it all works together. They cannot beat us if we keep moving smart." Across the fleet, soldiers trained in zero gravity, running drills to prepare for boarding and combat in enemy ships. Private Lucas Hill adjusted his armor, checking his weapon again. "We've done well so far," he said quietly. "But this is the hard part. We go deeper into enemy space, no turning back." His friend nodded. "We are humans. That is why we can do this." On the Council side, panic and anger were growing. Ambassador Thrax paced the command deck of the Council flagship, watching human ships advance. "They are still moving forward," he said, his voice tight. "How can a single species be so strong? How can they fight with such precision?" Other Council leaders argued, their voices raised and filled with fear. "We cannot match them," one shouted. "Our fleets are scattered, our weapons are not enough. They are different, too dangerous." Thrax's eyes burned. "We underestimated them again. This will not happen a third time. Gather all forces. We attack together. Do not let them reach the inner systems." Back on Liberty, Daniel studied the fleet formations on the screen. "They are preparing to trap us," he said. "But we will not be trapped. Every move they make has already been considered. Every attack they launch will be countered. Humans do not fear numbers." Sarah leaned over the tactical console. "Captain, they have set up a barrier of mines and drones. Their goal is to slow us down and force us into a kill zone." Daniel's hands rested lightly on the railing. "Good. That is exactly what we expected. Send orders, split the fleet into 3 groups, flank from above and below. Scouts move ahead to map the traps. Every mine, every drone, we neutralize it before it becomes a threat." Ethan Price, monitoring the enemy from the scouts, tapped the screen. "Captain, sensors confirm the traps. Drones are armed, mines are reactive, but our fleet can handle it. I've marked the safest paths through the field." "Then move carefully but quickly," Daniel said. "We cannot give them time to prepare more. We strike, we move, we win." Below decks, soldiers readied themselves for the coming challenges. Lucas Hill checked his rifle again. "This is going to be tricky," he said to his team. "Mines, drones, enemy ships, but we've been ready for this. We fight smart, we fight together." Rachel and Kyle worked fast, coordinating the rail cannons to cover all fleet movements. "Every cannon can fire in sequence," Rachel explained. "We hit the traps before the enemy can react. Their defenses won't hold." Kyle added, "We've trained for months for this exact moment. Now it is time." The fleet entered the first trap zone. Mines floated silently, almost invisible, while drones patrolled between them. Human scouts moved ahead, carefully marking safe paths. When a drone moved too close, the rail cannons fired in rapid bursts, destroying it before it could alert the Council fleet. Mines were neutralized using precise energy pulses that disarmed them without causing explosions. Captain Brooks watched quietly, impressed by the efficiency of his fleet. "Every move is perfect," he said. "Humans fight not just with courage but with intelligence. That is why we win." Sarah smiled. "And they still don't know who they are dealing with. Soon they will." As the fleet advanced, Council reinforcements arrived. Massive cruisers moved to intercept, their weapons glowing red in the darkness. But the humans were ready. Daniel gave the order, "Engage, use precision strikes, protect the scouts. Destroy their engines first, then their weapons. Move as one." The battle began. Alien cruisers fired energy beams, missiles streaked through space, and fighter squads swarmed around the human ships. But the humans moved as a single unit. Shields absorbed hits, rail cannons fired at critical points, and fighters intercepted missiles. Every move the Council made was predicted and countered. Below deck, Lucas Hill fought against boarding drones that managed to breach one of the human ships. "Keep them off," he shouted. "Do not let them reach the control room." Rachel monitored rail cannon feedback. "Every strike is effective. Enemy engines disabled. Their shields are weakening." Kyle added, "We are taking control of the battlefield. Nothing they do can stop us now." Human boarding teams moved into the alien cruisers. Ethan Price coordinated them from the control deck. "Engage quietly. Capture systems intact. Avoid unnecessary destruction. Show them human skill and discipline." On board the Council ships, chaos reigned. Officers screamed orders that could not be completed. Ships drifted without power, and fighters were destroyed faster than they could react. Ambassador Thrax watched in horror. "How can humans fight like this? They are everywhere, and their every move is perfect." Daniel smiled at the tactical screen. "We are not just fighting," he said. "We are showing the galaxy what humans are capable of. They will never underestimate us again." The humans pushed deeper. Every cruiser they disabled, every fighter squad they destroyed, every mine they neutralized, brought them closer to the Council's inner systems. The Council fleet was collapsing, unable to defend their territory effectively. Sarah turned to Daniel. "Captain, the Council is preparing a large counterattack. Their flagship is sending waves of fighters and energy blasts. This could be dangerous, Daniel nodded. Then we prepare, spread the fleet, engage in coordinated strikes and focus on the flagship. Take it down and the rest will scatter, Ethan confirmed. All boarding teams ready, rail cannons aligned, shields at maximum, fleet prepared for full engagement. The Council flagship appeared, larger and more powerful than before. Alien officers believed it could hold against anything, but they had never faced humans at full strength. Daniel gave the order, all firepower on the flagship. Focus every attack on its engines and shields. Boarding teams move in as soon as it's weakened. The fleet unleashed a massive attack. Rail cannons fired in unison, plasma beams cut through the flagship's armor, and missiles disabled critical systems. The Council flagship shook violently, and its shields flickered. Alien leaders screamed in panic as the humans controlled every aspect of the battle. Below decks, soldiers and engineers worked together to repair minor damage and prepare for boarding. Lucas Hill led a team into the enemy ship's engine room, planting charges to prevent escape. "We control everything," he said quietly. Rachel monitored the energy feedback from the rail cannons. "Their flagship is failing," she said. "Every system is overloaded. We can hold this position and continue attacking." Kyle added, "The rest of their fleet will fall soon." "We are unstoppable when we act together." On board the Council flagship, Thrax realized the truth. "We underestimated them, again. They are not just humans, they are something else, something dangerous." Daniel gave the final order, "Board the flagship. Capture their command center. End this battle decisively." Boarding pods launched silently, carrying soldiers who moved like shadows inside the enemy ship. Lucas Hill's team disabled the engines, while other teams took control of weapon systems. Alien officers surrendered, unable to fight effectively. Captain Brooks looked at the tactical screens. The Council fleet was collapsing. "All ships hold position, secure prisoners, only destroy what is necessary. Humanity has proven its strength." Sarah smiled. "We've done it again, another major victory." Daniel nodded, calm and confident. "Yes, but this is not the end. The Council will regroup. They will send more ships, more weapons. We must be ready for the next phase. Humans fight smart, humans fight together, and humans never give up." Below decks, soldiers and engineers prepared for the next wave. Lucas Hill looked out at the destroyed Council ships drifting through space. "We've shown them who humans are," he said. Rachel and Kyle worked together to repair systems and adjust weapons. "We've done more than fight," Rachel said. "We've shown them human intelligence, skill, and courage. They cannot ignore us anymore." Captain Daniel Brooks looked at the stars, calm and determined. Humanity had struck again, deeper into Council space. The Council had learned a lesson. Humans were not weak. Humans were not to be underestimated. And in the hearts of every human, pride burned brighter than any star. Humanity was no longer a small species in the galaxy. Humanity was a force the Council, and the galaxy, would have to respect. The human fleet moved steadily through the outer rim of the Council's capital systems. Captain Daniel Brooks stood on the Bridge of Liberty, his eyes scanning the stars. Every ship in the fleet was ready, shields strong, weapons charged, engines primed. They had fought through traps, fleets, and ambushes. Now they were close to the heart of the Council's territory. Lieutenant Sarah Bennett leaned over the tactical console. "Captain, sensors show the Council's main defenses ahead. They've concentrated their remaining fleets near the capital. This is going to be the toughest fight yet." Daniel's jaw tightened. "Good. Let them bring everything they have. Humans do not fear strength. We fight, we plan, we win. Every ship, every soldier, every cannon must act as one. That is why we succeed." Below decks, engineers Rachel Morgan and Kyle Peterson moved between the weapons systems and energy conduits. "This is the final phase," Rachel said quietly. "All systems must work perfectly. One mistake and it could be catastrophic." Kyle nodded, checking the rail cannon calibrations. We've trained for this moment. Every cannon, every shield, every system is ready. Nothing can stop us now. Across the fleet, soldiers prepared for combat. Private Lucas Hill checked his plasma rifle one last time. Beside him, a comrade whispered, "Do you think we can do it? Take the Council's capital." Lucas looked out the viewport at the dark, glittering stars. "We have to. We are humans, we never back down. We fight together and we win together." In the Council's capital chamber, panic was growing. Ambassador Thrax stood before the leaders, watching the human fleet approach. "They've survived everything we've thrown at them," he said, his voice low and urgent. "They've beaten our fleets, destroyed our defenses, and they are still moving forward. How can one species be so strong?" Other council members shouted, arguing, blaming one another. "We cannot hold them. They are too organized, too smart, too fast." Thrax's eyes burned. "We underestimated them from the beginning. This ends now. Gather all forces. Defend the capital at all costs. We must stop them before they reach the heart of our systems." Back on Liberty, Daniel studied the fleet formations on the screens. "They are desperate," he said. "That is good. Desperation makes them predictable. Signal all ships, maintain formation, shields full, weapons ready. Scouts move ahead to map defenses. Every step must be planned and precise." Sarah looked over the console. "Captain, the Council has set up massive energy barriers and fleets near the capital. They will try to trap us inside." Daniel nodded. "Then we break their trap. We fight smart. We strike first. Every barrier has a weakness. Every defense has a flaw. We find it and exploit it. Humans adapt, humans conquer." Ethan Price, monitoring from the scouts, reported, "Captain, I have mapped the barrier zones. Energy fields, minefields, patrols. We can move through them if we follow the paths I've marked. Timing is critical." "Good work," Daniel said. "Relay the plans to all ships. Everyone must move together. No mistakes." Below decks, soldiers ran through drills one last time. Lucas Hill adjusted his armor and looked at his team. "This is it," he said. "We fight smart, we fight together, and we win. We are humans, we do not back down." Rachel and Kyle worked quickly to adjust energy outputs. "Every rail cannon ready," Rachel said. "Every shield operating at maximum. We've got this." Kyle smiled. "We've trained for this. The Council doesn't know humans like we do. They will see our strength today." The fleet moved into the first barrier zone. Energy fields shimmered in space, bright and dangerous, while patrols of Council fighters moved to intercept. Human scouts led the way, showing paths through the energy fields. Mines and drones were neutralized with precise pulses, never detonating, never alerting the enemy prematurely. Captain Brooks watched calmly. "Every move is perfect. Humans are not just brave. Humans are smart. That is why we win." Sarah looked at him, her eyes shining. "And they still have no idea what's coming next." The Council forces, watching from afar, noticed the humans moving forward. "They are through the first defenses," one officer shouted. "Impossible. We have concentrated everything. They should not survive this." Thrax's voice was tight. "They are not just surviving, they are taking control. Do not let them reach the capital. Stop them at all costs." Daniel's fleet pressed forward. When Council cruisers attempted to flank, human rail cannons destroyed their engines before they could maneuver. Fighter squads intercepted missiles and beams. Every Council attack was countered with precision. Onboard Liberty, Ethan Price coordinated the attacks. "Captain, the Council's flagship and elite fleets are approaching. They are concentrating on cutting us off from the capital." Daniel nodded. "Good, let them concentrate. That is exactly what we want. Prepare full engagement. Rail cannons ready, boarding pods armed. Shields at maximum." Lucas Hill and his team prepared for boarding. "This is the moment," he said. "We move fast, we fight smart, and we take control. Humanity will not be stopped." The human fleet unleashed a full strike. Beams of energy, rail cannon blasts, and missiles tore through the Council's strongest ships. Shields flickered and failed. Engines exploded. Fighters were shredded before they could reach human lines. On board the Council flagship, chaos ruled. Alien officers screamed orders that could not be followed. Ships drifted helplessly in space. Ambassador Thrax pounded on the console. "Impossible! How can they control everything? We cannot stop them." Daniel gave the final order. "Board the flagship. Capture the command center. End this battle decisively." Boarding pods launched, moving like shadows toward the massive Council flagship. Soldiers moved silently inside, disabling weapons and engines. Lucas Hill's team planted charges on the engine core, ensuring the ship could not escape. Other teams captured alien officers. Rachel and Kyle monitored rail cannon systems from the engineering deck. "Every strike hits," Rachel said. "They cannot fight back effectively. We control the battlefield." Kyle added, "Every ship, every cannon, every soldier, perfect coordination. They cannot stop us." The Council fleet was collapsing. Ships surrendered, fighters were destroyed, and the capital's outer defenses fell. The humans had proven their intelligence, strategy, and courage. Captain Brooks watched the battlefield. "All ships secure the area, take prisoners, only destroy what is necessary. Humanity has shown its strength." Sarah turned to him. "Captain, the capital is within reach. They have no way to stop us." Daniel nodded. "Then we take it. Humans will show the Council that we are a force to be respected. Move forward carefully, but without hesitation." The human fleet approached the capital system. Energy barriers and remaining fleets tried to stop them, but the humans moved as one. Scouts led the way, neutralizing traps. Rail cannons destroyed remaining cruisers. Boarding teams disabled ships silently. The Council could only watch in despair. On the surface of the capital world, humans prepared to land troops if necessary. Lucas Hill checked his gear one last time. "We've made it this far. Now we finish it. Humanity wins today." Rachel and Kyle made final adjustments to the rail cannons. "Every shot counts," Rachel said. "The Council will never underestimate humans again." Kyle added, "This is more than victory. This is a message. Humans are not weak. Humans are not insignificant. Humans are a force." The Council flagship was finally captured. Alien officers surrendered. The main fleets were either destroyed or in retreat. Ambassador Thrax stood helplessly, realizing the truth. Humans were not a minor species. Humans were a threat no one could ignore. Captain Daniel Brooks addressed the galaxy through the universal comm system. "We do not seek unnecessary destruction. We fight to protect humanity, to defend our people, and to show that humans are strong. Let this be a warning to the galaxy. Humanity will defend itself, and we will never be underestimated again." Across the human fleet, soldiers cheered quietly. Lucas Hill smiled. "We did it," he said. "We really did it. Humans are a force." Rachel and Kyle worked together to stabilize the captured ships. "We've proven our strength," Rachel said. "The galaxy will never forget this day." Daniel looked at the stars. The war was not over, but humanity had won the decisive battle. They had conquered the Council's capital defenses, shown intelligence, courage, and strategy, and earned respect across the galaxy. Sarah stood beside him. "We've done more than fight. We've shown the galaxy what humans are capable of." Daniel nodded. "Yes, and this is just the beginning. Humanity will not stop. We fight, we protect, and we grow stronger every day. The Council will think twice before challenging us again." The human fleet repaired, resupplied, and prepared to return home. Ships once under Council control were now manned by humans. Soldiers trained in new territories, engineers studied alien technology, and leaders planned for the future. Lucas Hill looked out at the stars, proud and exhausted. "We've done it. We've shown them all. Humans are strong, smart, and unstoppable when united." Rachel and Kyle watched the fleet move toward Earth. "This is a new era," Rachel said. "Humans are no longer weak. Humans are a power the galaxy must respect." Captain Daniel Brooks smiled faintly. Humanity had marched to war, fought with skill and courage, and emerged victorious. The Council would never forget the day humans proved themselves, and in every human heart, pride burned bright. Humanity was no longer a minor species. Humanity was a force the galaxy would have to respect.